My beloved, come close. Pull your heart up to this table and let it rest. Lay your burdens down right here beside me. Let us talk, soul to soul, spirit to spirit. Because today I bring you a truth soaked in the tears of saints, wrapped in the robes of time, and cradled in the loving arms of the Almighty. You see, life has a way of stealing. It snatches our peace in the midnight hour. It chips away at our innocence with every heartbreak, every betrayal, every door that slammed shut when we were praying for it to open. And sometimes it feels like the years have run away with our dreams, like Joy packed her bags and left with yesterday. But I came to tell you, God will restore all your wasted years. Yes, baby, all of them. Oh, child, let me gather you in this truth. What you thought was wasted has never been beyond the hand of God. Never. The years that slipped through your fingers like water, the seasons that were soaked in sorrow, the days you can't get back, those moments are not gone. No, they are kept, held, watched over by a God who does not forget, who does not sleep, and who never misplaces a single second of your life. We've all been there, haven't we? Looking back over the landscape of our lives with aching eyes and wondering where the time went. You remember how you once dreamed with a heart wide open. You remember how you gave your love freely, your trust without borders, your kindness without demand. But somehow the joy turned to ashes, the laughter quieted. The time you invested, the prayers you prayed, the love you gave, it all seems like it evaporated into the air. And now you sit with the echo of loss. But baby, let me whisper something your soul needs to hear. Nothing you've been through is wasted in the economy of heaven. Not a sigh, not a tear, not a moment of confusion or a breath of pain. God has seen it all, caught it all, and folded it into the tapestry of your becoming. He is the master weaver, taking every strand, even the tattered and torn, and weaving them into a cloth of strength, purpose, and glory. You may feel like the years were stolen. You may feel like the enemy took what was most precious and walked away laughing. But I want you to know, God is not mocked, and He is not absent. No one gets the final say over your life but Him, even what the enemy meant for harm. Even what was done to you in darkness, God is using it. He is transforming it, folding it into His divine design for your future. You see, time in our eyes moves in a straight line. Forward, forward, always forward. But God sits above time. He sees the end from the beginning and the middle from the mountaintop. He is not constrained by the ticking of clocks or the turning of calendars. So what looks wasted to you is actually redeemable to Him. I've seen it, child. I've lived long enough to know this deep truth. Some of your most painful seasons are your most productive in the eyes of God. When you were crying alone, He was teaching you how to be still. When you were betrayed, He was showing you the truth about people and the deeper truth about yourself. When you failed, He was pulling the mask from your pride and giving you a chance to grow. What you call wasted, God calls work in progress. You may not see it now, but one day you will. One day you'll stand on the other side of this mountain and you'll look back and see that every step mattered, that every fall taught you something, that every silence brought you closer to God's voice. And you will understand that heaven does not waste human suffering. It sanctifies it. Oh, how the world will try to convince you that time lost is time gone, that there's no making up for what you missed. But baby, the world doesn't know your God. Your God is not in the business of simply restoring. He rebuilds better. He doesn't return you to what you were. He elevates you to what you were meant to be. Think of the caterpillar who thought it was the end of her life, wrapped in that dark cocoon with no light, no beauty, no motion. But what felt like death was actually the miracle beginning. And when she emerged, she did not crawl. She flew. What seemed wasted was actually sacred preparation. Don't you see? That relationship that left you shattered. It didn't break you. It broke open the shell around your destiny. That job you lost, the dream that died, the time you feel you squandered, they are all compost in the garden of your next blessing. They are not your shame, they are your soil. And out of that soil the Lord will grow something astonishing. Something only He can water. Something you won't have to chase. It will bloom right where you're standing. So don't curse the years that feel lost. Bless them. Thank God for them. Because they are the foundation under your feet now. And from those years of silence, the voice of God will rise louder. From the years of waiting, your strength has deepened. From the years of wandering, you have gained wisdom. He wastes nothing, not even your regret. I know you may not believe this yet. I know the ache may still be too fresh. But just sit with this truth, even if it trembles in your hands. God is restoring you already. Every lesson, every prayer, every second you thought was empty. It is being poured back into your life with grace. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are not forgotten. You are exactly where God has chosen to start again. So breathe, darling. Breathe deep. Lift your eyes. The morning is coming. And with it comes restoration, not just of time, but of joy, of confidence, of peace. And you will look around at the land of your life and see green where there was dust, flowers where there was pain, laughter where there was weeping. And you will know nothing was wasted. It was all part of God's holy healing plan. And it was beautiful all along. Oh, my dear heart, sit still and listen. Let your soul be soothed by this one sacred truth. When God returns to you what was lost, He returns it multiplied. Heaven doesn't do simple exchanges. No. God does not merely restore. He overflows. You see, when we think of restoration, we often imagine the thing coming back just as it left. We think of getting back the years, the job, the love, the laughter, just as we once had it. But, oh, child, God's restoration doesn't look like a return. It looks like a resurrection. When God breathes on what you lost, He doesn't bring it back the same. He brings it back transformed. Because you're not the same either. The woman you are now, with her deeper wisdom, her steadier hands, her sacred scars. She is not who she was when the losses came. No, she's been seasoned, tempered, weathered by pain and kissed by grace. And so what God gives her now must match the depth of who she's become. God doesn't put old wine in new wineskins. And He will not return to you a blessing that doesn't match your evolution. So trust me when I say this. When God restores, it is not a return to what was. It is an elevation to what should be. Think of Job, the man who lost everything, his family, his health, his livelihood, stripped bare by storms he did not cause. But when the hand of the Lord moved again in his life, He did not give Job a mere copy of what was taken. No, He gave him double for his trouble, beauty for his ashes, glory where there had been grief. Now hear me carefully. This restoration isn't about material things, though those may come too. It's about the restoration of the soul, of identity, of sacred joy, of that light in your eyes that went dim from too many nights spent weeping. God will bring back your light, and not a flicker but a fire. He will bring back your laughter, not a giggle but a mighty roar. You've got to understand, my darling, that heaven's math is different than man's math. We count what we lost. God multiplies what's to come. We look at the years with bitterness, God looks at them with benevolence. We see the ruins, but God sees the blueprints. So do not expect your blessing to come in the same wrapping it left in. Do not wait by the door of yesterday hoping it knocks again. No, open your heart to something newer, bigger, wiser, something divine. Some of you gave love and got betrayal in return. You served and were dismissed. You showed up with your whole heart and were left standing in silence. And you think to yourself, all that giving, all that hope, for what? Let me tell you, it was not for nothing, because God saw what they didn't. He saw the effort, the loyalty, the trembling, courageous faith, and when He restores you, He will not just give you another person, He'll give you discernment. He'll give you love without manipulation. He will upgrade your connections to match your calling. Some of you lost time, years gone to wandering, to confusion, to anxiety that wore your spirit down like a slow tide. But when God restores time, He does it in sudden, mighty ways. In 1 year, He can do what would have taken 10. In 1 moment, He can open doors that lead you into your destiny. You will not walk, you will leap into places your enemies swore you'd never enter. And when He does it, when He begins to pour back into your life, you will not have room enough to contain it. You'll have to make space. Emotionally, spiritually, even physically. That's why you must prepare. Restoration is not a small thing. It is not neat and quiet. It is divine abundance. It shakes the dust off your soul. It rearranges your routine. It lifts you up from places you made peace with simply because you were tired. God's kind of restoration is disruptive, not in a cruel way, but in a cleansing way. It will sweep through your life like a holy wind and remove what cannot stay so that what He's given you can finally land. It will demand that you let go of who you were in order to receive who you were always meant to become. So don't be surprised when the blessings come and they don't look familiar. Don't be surprised when you're given opportunities you don't feel qualified for. That's God saying, this is the reward for your faithfulness in famine. This is what happens when you sow in tears, you reap in joy. But let me caution you, precious one. Don't measure what's coming by what was taken. Don't you dare try to balance the scales. Let God tilt them in your favor. Let Him blow your mind. Let Him take you beyond your expectations. You didn't just survive all that pain to go back to where you were. You endured it because you were meant for more, so much more. And more is coming. The restoration is not distant. It is not a far-off dream. It is in motion. It is moving toward you, even now, like a tide that cannot be stopped. Your name is on blessings you haven't seen yet. Your fingerprints are on doors that are being unlocked right now in rooms you've never entered. Don't fear the timing. Trust the preparation. Heaven is not in a hurry, but it is always on time. And when it moves with purpose, with precision, with passion. So don't flinch when it comes. Don't question if you deserve it. Don't shrink when you're called forward. Stand tall, chin high, heart open, because the restoration of God doesn't just return what was lost. It returns you, stronger, bolder, softer, wiser, more radiant than ever before. And baby, when it lands, it'll feel like you never lost a thing, because what you gain will outweigh the pain. What you receive will silence the years of suffering. And you will know, not guess, not wonder, but know that your Redeemer lives, and that He never forgot you, not for 1 second, and that He restores, not to where you were, but to where you were always meant to be. There's something powerful about knowing that your past, no matter how cracked, crooked, or covered in dust, does not hold the deed to your destiny. The world will try to tell you otherwise. It'll point to your missteps, your delays, your detours, and whisper, you missed your chance. But the world does not write your story. God does. and his pen never runs dry. His mercy does not fade. His plans are not canceled by your mistake. Child, let me tell you this. The broken road you walked on didn't break you. They shaped you. And God, in all his wisdom, saw fit to take your story, yes, even the parts you'd rather forget, and use them to build a purpose more powerful than you can imagine. That's what kind of God he is. He is not surprised by your past. He is not discouraged by your flaws. In fact, he factors them into your calling. People will try to measure you by where you've been. They'll remember your lowest chapters and try to define you by them. But God sees you differently. He sees you through the eyes of eternity, not through the lens of shame or the filter of regret. He doesn't call you by what you did. He calls you by who he created you to be. When he looks at you, he sees promise. He sees potential. He sees his child, not his project. There were moments in your life when you strayed, and you know you did. Times you went left when the Spirit whispered right. Seasons when you ignored the still, small voice and followed the louder noise of your own desire. But let me tell you, grace does not crumble under the weight of your past. Grace grows taller. Grace reaches further. Grace meets you right there in the shadow of your worst decision and says, get up. We're not done. You may have wasted time. You may have wandered for years thinking you were forgotten. But darling, the delay is not the denial. The waiting was not wasted. It was preparation. It was the soil under your feet toughening your roots. It was the long night before the dawn. God has not canceled the dream. He's just been preparing the vessel. You see, people like to write each other off. They'll call you disqualified based on where you came from, what you did, or who you used to be. But God doesn't disqualify. He qualifies. He takes what the world calls weak and makes it strong. He takes what the world calls foolish and pours wisdom into it. He takes a scarred soul and turns it into a testimony. Look back for a moment, not in shame, but in recognition. Think of the storms you survived, the voices that told you you'll never recover, the moments you felt too broken to pray, and yet here you are, breathing, standing, wiser, softer, stronger. You thought your story ended in the valley, but God was just rewriting the next chapter on higher ground. You were not forgotten in your failure. You were being refined. Every stumble, every sleepless night, every heavy silence, they were not the end. They were the middle, and the middle does not define the whole. Don't you dare measure your destiny by your detour. Don't you let regret sit in the driver's seat of your soul, because the God who made you still has plans for you, and he is not through. You may think, but I made such a mess. I said the wrong things. I hurt the right people. I chose the wrong path. Let me remind you, God does not ask for perfection. He asks for surrender. And when you give him your broken pieces, he does not discard them. He does not judge them. He molds them. He builds with them. And when he's done, even the cracks will shine. Do you know what kind of power it takes to walk forward when your past is pulling at your feet? It takes holy courage. It takes divine hope. But child, let me assure you, you don't have to drag your shame behind you like a chain. You can drop it right here. Today, God already paid the price for your release. You're free. Free to dream again. Free to rise again. Free to believe that your latter will be greater than your former. Free to hold your head high, even with the past. Because it's not your past that defines you. It's the power of the one who brought you through it. Sometimes we think we have to clean ourselves up before we come to God. We think we need to fix the mess, correct the record, make everything neat and tidy. But God does his best work in the rubble. He steps into the ruins, rolls up his sleeves, and begins to rebuild. And when he's done, it won't just be restored, it will be renewed. That's the promise. that nothing you've done can stop what God has planned. That even in the ashes of your decisions, there's beauty waiting to rise. That the same mouth that once cursed your own name can now speak blessings into your future. That the same hands that trembled in guilt can now be lifted in praise. You are not too far gone. You are not too late. You are not too broken. You are exactly the kind of person God delights in: a story in progress, a heart in healing, a soul ready for purpose. The world may count you out, but heaven has you marked for glory. And listen to me carefully. When God restores, He doesn't just bring you back to the place where you fell. He lifts you above it. You don't start over. You start forward. With all the wisdom, all the growth, all the divine understanding you picked up along the way. So don't fear your history. Don't hide from your story. Let it shine. Let it be the evidence of grace, the record of a comeback, the melody of a life redeemed. For every mistake there is mercy. For every sin there is salvation. And for every shattered moment there is a Savior who specializes in putting lives back together. You are not what you've done, you are what He's doing with you. And beloved, He is not finished, not yet, not ever. Beloved, when God begins to restore you, you must learn how to stand still. Not in fear, not in confusion, but in holy expectation. Stillness is not idleness, it is not weakness, it is not surrender to despair. No. Stillness, when done in faith, is a declaration. It says, I trust you, God, more than I trust what I see. You see, there will come a time when all the moving, all the striving, all the stretching will lead you right to the edge of your strength. And it's there, when you can no longer go on in your own power, that the divine whispers, be still. I am fighting for you. Oh, what a beautiful mystery it is that the greatest victories are sometimes won not with a sword, but with surrender. Stillness is a sacred strength. It is a quiet confidence. It is the resting place of those who know that God is not just the author of their beginning, but the finisher of their restoration. There is a time to walk, yes, a time to run, even a time to weep. But there is also a time to wait. Not because nothing is happening, but because everything is being rearranged behind the scenes. In your stillness, God works. And isn't that just like Him? To move when we least expect it. To whisper peace in the middle of a storm. To lift us while we sleep, while we rest, while we wait. That is the nature of a good Father. He takes the night watch so you can lie down in trust. But hear me now. Stillness does not mean silence in the spirit. No, stillness means you're so rooted in God's promise, you no longer have to beg or bargain or pace. It means you've set your heart like flint on the truth that God is good, even if you don't see it yet. It means you've laid down your weapons because you know that the battle belongs to the Lord. And beloved, what a mighty warrior He is. Some of us are so used to doing everything ourselves, fixing, forcing, manipulating outcomes, trying to mend what was never ours to heal. But there comes a time when the Spirit tells you, sit down, child. Let me handle this. And you must listen. You must unclench your fists and open your heart. You must take your hands off the wheel and trust the divine hand that has never, not once, let you go. Oh, I know it's hard. I know waiting can wear you thin. I know stillness feels unnatural when the world is always shouting, Hassan, strive, prove your worth. But God says, be still and know that I am God. Not be still and be forgotten. Not be still and be ashamed. No, be still and know there is certainty in that stillness. There's power in that pause. Sometimes the greatest act of faith is to stop moving and start trusting. Let me tell you a secret. The devil can't stand a person who's learned how to rest in God. He can't torment you when your soul is anchored. He can't shake you when your trust is unshakable. When you stop chasing answers and start dwelling in the assurance that God is who He says He is, you become untouchable. Not because life gets easier, but because you get rooted. Stillness is not weakness. It is warfare. It is you saying, though I do not see it yet, I know my Redeemer is coming. It is you waking up each day, not with a new plan, but with renewed peace. It is you refusing to live from fear, refusing to let worry write your prayers, refusing to let anxiety be your compass. You wake up and say, God, I know you're working. And even if nothing looks different, you walk in peace because you've chosen trust over torment. This is the season where God is doing more than you think, but He's asking you to move less than you want. He's asking you to be still enough to hear the whisper, to feel the shift, to receive the miracle that doesn't need your help, just your heart. And don't confuse stillness with stagnation. Stagnation is what happens when you give up. Stillness is what happens when you give over. One is the absence of hope. The other is the abundance of it. When you are still, you are saying, Lord, I don't know how, but I believe you do. I don't see the way, but I know you've already made it. So rest, precious one. Rest in the promise. Rest in the process. Rest in the God who never sleeps nor slumbers. You don't need to earn His favor. You already have it. You don't need to chase His love. It's already chasing you. Just be still. And know, and in that stillness, you will feel your strength return. Like breath coming back to tired lungs. Like light slowly rising over the horizon. Like warmth seeping back into cold bones. Because when you stop running in circles, you make room for the Savior to move straight through your situation. Let Him part the sea. Let Him shut the lion's mouth. Let Him open the prison doors. Let Him make the crooked path straight. Let Him fight for you. All you must do is be still. That doesn't mean you stop living. It means you stop living in fear. It doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop carrying what was never yours. You are not called to be the hero. You are called to be the vessel. You are not the provider. You are the beloved. So let God do what only He can do. And when the victory comes, because it will, you will know it wasn't by your might, nor by your power, but by the Spirit of the living God. You'll stand in the aftermath of His glory, and your soul will whisper, it was the Lord. And that stillness that once felt like surrender, it will feel like peace. Holy, healing, unshakable peace. And that, my dear, is the greatest restoration of all. When God restores, beloved, you cannot walk back into the world with the same posture you once held. No, you must rise different, rise higher, rise with new vision. Restoration is not merely God returning to you what you lost. It is Him revealing what you carried all along. And once you've seen the goodness of the Lord in the land of the living, once you've tasted that sacred redemption, you cannot go back to small thinking, low living, or empty believing. Because, child, you're not who you used to be. The wounds that once defined you have been wrapped in grace. The shame that once clung to your name has been peeled away by truth. You are no longer walking with the weight of regret. You are stepping forward with divine intention, your back straightened by healing and your soul dressed in joy. What you came through did not kill you, it crowned you. And now you walk not as the broken, but as the blessed. You see, there is a responsibility that comes with restoration. There's a new level of living you must embrace. When God brings you out, He also calls you. You can't go back to the places that tried to drown you. You can't entertain the people who kept you shackled in your own self-doubt. You can't keep company with voices that call you by your past when God has already renamed you in His promise. You have to live like someone who's been delivered. You must make decisions rooted in faith, not fear. You must protect your peace like a sacred treasure. You must speak with authority, because heaven's favor now rests upon your tongue. When God restores your wasted years, He does so not to remind you of time lost, but to fill you with time redeemed. Every day becomes holy, every breath sacred, every step a dance with destiny. And don't let the world rush you back into old rhythms. Don't let people who never saw your process try to define your purpose. They may remember your wilderness, but they don't know your encounter. They didn't hear the whisper in the dark. They didn't feel the hand that lifted you. They didn't see the tears that watered your new beginning. So you don't owe anyone an explanation. Only God your obedience. Let the fruit speak for itself. Let your joy speak volumes. Let your peace preach a quiet sermon. Let your life become the evidence of what restoration really looks like. You are not here by accident. You are the harvest of mercy, the proof that grace grows even in barren soil. And when you walk now, you walk with purpose in your posture. You walk like someone who knows the King. You are not just restored, you are repurposed. And what does that mean? It means the dreams that lay dormant are waking up inside you. It means the vision you buried under shame is now bursting through the soil of your soul. It means you cannot keep playing small when a big God has placed His hand upon your life. You must expand. You must stretch. You must step into rooms you once thought too grand for your name. And yes, fear may whisper, but faith must thunder louder. You are not that little girl who didn't know her worth. You are not that young man who let his past dictate his future. You are not the person who made that mistake, took that wrong turn, settled for less. No. You are wiser now. You are scarred, but not shattered. You are broken open, not broken down. And the Spirit that raised Christ from the dead, it lives in you now. That power is your portion. That promise is your inheritance. So you must live like it. You must rise each morning, not with dread, but with declaration. Speak to the mirror and say, I am restored. I am chosen. I am not what I've been through. I am what I've overcome. Let your day begin with praise and end with peace. Let your hands do work that matters. Let your words lift those still crawling out of the dark. Because restoration isn't just for you, it is for everyone who will witness your life and believe God can do it for them too. You become the lighthouse, the evidence, the walking, breathing, living story of a God who does not give up on people. A God who bends time to bless His children, a God who rewrites chapters and turns pain into poetry. And if you ever doubt yourself, if the voice of yesterday tries to creep back in and steal your peace, I want you to remember this. You are walking in answered prayers. Somewhere in your past, someone prayed for you to make it. A mother, a grandmother, a friend, a stranger, and God heard every word. He held them in His hand